We have some tar here, sweet. Okay guys, so I just came out of the tent, jumped up in the tripod, and we do have some tar here. But in 2 weeks' time, this is not gonna happen. Hey guys, we're back here on the Hunter Call of the Wild. In today's video, we're gonna have a look at the changes that are coming in 2 weeks' time when the next update comes that are greatly going to impact your tar grind. They are going to impact every Great One grind, but specifically, mostly, the tar grind is going to be greatly affected. Now, this zone, which is located on this mountaintop, will not really change with the next update. This is one of the few zones where you can set up 250 meters away and shoot in towards your tar. So this zone isn't going to be greatly affected, but 80% of the zones on the tar grind will, and we are going to visit them in today's video. We're also going to go over to Revontuli and have a look at the whitetail grind. We're going to have a look at the moose grind, but first, we're gonna take down these tar. Now guys, let me know in the comments whether you are doing a tar grind or whether you intended to, and if this will change whether you do a grind or not. Where you going? Got him! Also, somewhere in the video I am going to share a key phrase. Drop that in the comments for your chance to win a 1-month membership to the channel. And let's pick up these tar. So I am 1,990 kills into my tar grind. No Great One yet. I really need him to show up before the next update because I don't know if it's even going to be possible to do a tar grind after the next update. Now, if you have been grinding for rare tigers or even super rare tigers, Jaxie actually said on stream, better get those rares and super rares now because there are big changes coming to the tiger grind. So I don't think this 3-lake method is going to work after the update or whenever these changes take place. Right now, when you grind on these 3 lakes, for most people, the tigers will respawn to these 3 lakes only most of the time, making it very easy to spawn rares and even super rares, as you can see by the amount of rares floating around in the community. And that is definitely gonna change. So, get on that grind, guys. We don't have much time left. This is what Jaxie had to say at the EW stream.
Male albino tiger trophies will now appear using the intended fur in the trophy lodge. That's coming in the patch. That also applies to jackals. The jackals were having that issue as well.
So that was the good change. Here is the change coming to tigers that you might not like so much.
Any change to the tigers is not something I'm going to get into yet. I want to see how that pans out. We've still got time. There is some attempts at that. That's what I will say right now. They're not working as intended. They really aren't. So I will say for our friends that want to get those super rares, get them now. You're welcome. It didn't turn out as it was intended. And when that happens with a developer, you know there'll be some changes. So what that's going to be, I'm not 100% yet. I have seen the options, but I'm not in a place to really discuss that too much.
So the days of the 3-lake method for grinding tigers is limited for sure. So if you are after a rare or a super rare tiger, Jaxie says to get it now because that is not going to stay that way forever. And I think that's probably a good thing because I had no idea that the rare tigers were going to spawn so easily. There are also some changes coming to missions, fixing missions, so that is good.
There are some missions that have been frustrating us, and they have received a fix. And let me just actually go in here. This includes the hills, Ice Mountain, and Lowland on the Sundarpatan map. These were, I think those are all side missions, right? The main mission you were able to complete, but the side missions, they were causing some grief for some players. So we've got those dialed in, and we're pretty confident on those ones.
I do not have the patch notes yet. When I do, I will let you know exactly what is in the update. And yes, I am grinding with the 300. And now here is what I think is the most important thing that Jaxie had to say on yesterday's EW stream.
Animals should react appropriately again when players fast travel near them. So, unfortunately, this one needed to get fixed because it is an unintentional exploit. So, people did not know if they just joined. But for the majority of our community has been playing for a while, as it used to be, when you fast travel to a tent, you had to really think on where you'd place your tent, simply for the fact they would spook to 250 meters. Okay, the equivalent of shooting a rifle or the equivalent of riding an ATV. That was our sound range. 250 meters all the way around you. That changed at some point. It was a bug. You would fast travel to a tent, and the animals would not flee. Yeah, but where it wasn't noticeable is there was another bug that was very frustrating, where the animals wouldn't render in if you fast traveled within that sound range of 250 meters, which, not intentional, was being used as a bit of an exploit. People would fast travel to a tent, shoot everything on the other side of the lake, go over there, turn around and shoot everything where they were just standing, but the animals were invisible and rendered in. So we fixed this now. And I realized that, it's going to change the way some of the grinders have got used to doing it. It's going to change how some of the casual players, it's just going to change some of the feel on the hunt. But this is how it was intended, is where the fix is at now. So that is coming. It was tricky. And there were two different issues at play. But this is game development, right? Game development 101. So pleased to see that will all be back to as it's supposed to be working.
So there you have it. When we fast travel to any tent, everything within 250 meters will immediately spook as of the next update, which should drop in about 2 weeks, but we do not have a date at this time. Okay, so now we are at this zone right here. Now, I am fairly far away from this zone compared to a lot of zones in the Tahr grind, but how far am I actually away from this zone? I'm only 157 meters, okay? So if I do fast travel into this tent after the next update, these Tahr are still going to spook. Now, can I set up 200 to 250 meters away? Let's pull the tent and see if it's possible. Here we go. Now, unfortunately, we have to go into the forest. We are 200 meters away, and I don't think I can put a tent down anywhere here. Not looking good. So now we are at about 250 meters, but can I put my tent down? Nope, not a chance. So am I gonna be able to use this zone after the next update? I don't think so. Or we're just gonna be fast traveling and immediately shooting running targets. It's gonna be insane. I am a little concerned, to be very honest. I am not happy about this. So now I'm probably about 300 meters out, 312, and I still can't put my tent down. I just don't think I'm gonna be able to use this zone. I can't. And this is actually a zone where I am set up fairly far away. Let's go look at some of the other zones. Okay, so I came out of the tent. There's Tahr. They are gonna spook fairly quickly, but they're not spooked yet, but that is about to change. So I'm wondering if we're gonna have to use the same zones over and over again after the next update. I just don't know how. Like, look at this spot right here. So here is the zone. I am 114 meters from it, so let's see if we can get to even 200 meters. Now, Jaxie did say during the stream yesterday that when you spook animals, if you just wait a little bit, they will come back into their zone. Is that what we're gonna have to do? Sit and wait for the animals to come back? So now I'm 200, I can't see what is over there, and when I do try to get closer to the Tahr, they are gonna spook. I don't think I'm gonna be able to use this zone after the next update. I just don't think it's possible. And we have a level 4. Now, I was actually saying, after I started doing the Tahr grind, that I actually like the Tahr grind more than all the other Great One grinds, and the reason I do is because it is more challenging. You fast travel to a zone, and often you don't know where the Tahr are gonna be. Often they spook right away and you're shooting at moving targets, and for me, that is fun. I like that a lot. But I don't want it to be impossible. That is definitely gonna make it not very much fun. And after the next update, I just don't know how we're gonna do the Tahr grind. Okay, so I just fast traveled to this zone, and some of them have spooked already. The rest of them are going to spook fairly quickly, especially with my dog hanging out there. But how would you set up on a zone like this after the next update? There is literally nowhere to run back and put a tent. Everything is on a hill. This is probably one of the hardest maps to put a tent down on. There is very little flat land on this map, and I'm not criticizing this map. I love this map. This is my favorite map, and I have been having an absolute blast on it. And I love how this grind is challenging, but I don't want it to be is impossible. And I'm very worried that this grind is about to die, and no one will be doing it after the next update. Is that what's gonna happen? I really don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Now let's go over to Revontuli and visit the whitetail grind. Okay, we are now here in Revontuli Coast, and this is my whitetail grind. Now my tent is set up about 250 meters from the zone. It was set up when tents did spook for 250 meters. So the update is not going to greatly affect my whitetail grind, and for that I am very grateful. But there are some spots that have been affected by the last update, so let's have a look at that. Now, when you have two different zones that you're shooting back and forth from, like that are across the water from each other, so that's a whitetail zone, and that's a whitetail zone. What I used to do was fast travel into this tent, jump in the tripod, shoot the whitetail in this zone, fast travel over here. The whitetail that were in this zone would not render in while I was in this tent, and when I'd fast travel over here, they would render in and I could shoot back while I'm picking up my deer, and I could get both of these zones farmed in no time flat. Well, that is not going to be the case anymore. With the update that came with the Sundarpatan map, animals now render in when you are within 200 meters. When you fast travel to a tent, any animals within 200 meters, they are gonna be there. So you're not gonna be able to do that anymore. So let's see what's gonna happen. Now, I'm not actually grinding this zone. There is only a doe here, so I don't grind that zone anymore, but we're gonna pretend there's a herd there. Okay. And let's see what happens when I fast travel and try to grind both of these zones. Here we go. Okay, so there's the other zone. It's 350 meters away. There's actually nothing over there right now. Is there whitetail in this zone? There they go. They are spooking. There they go. Before they would not have spooked. They wouldn't even have rendered in. So in order for me to grind the zone across there, I have to spook these. Please don't kill me. Hey, what's the big idea? I have to spook these whitetail out in order to grind this zone across the water. And then when I fast travel over there to pick them up, there will be no deer here for me to shoot. So I guess the only way to deal with this is to come into one of the tents, shoot at one of the zones, and then leave, grind some other zones, and come back later when these deer have come back, and then take care of the other side. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. But aside from that, this update will very largely not impact the whitetail grind because the land is nice and flat and it's not hard to get 250 meters away with the tent and shoot in towards your whitetail. But with the Tahr, it's a totally different story. Okay, so we are here on my moose grind, and again, the land here is beautifully, perfectly flat. It is no problem to set up your tent 200 to 250 meters away and shoot in towards these moose. It's not going to be a problem, so the update is not going to affect the moose grind. I really think it's only going to affect the Tahr grind, but it's not going to affect it a little bit. It's going to completely make it impossible. I honestly feel that way. So even in this zone, here is my zone, but Tahr can be anywhere, usually within 100 meters of the zone in any direction, and they're gonna be in a different spot every time. So I'm gonna have to move this tent back, and this is one zone I'm going to be using repeatedly. But once the update does drop, I will be out here testing, and I will let you know exactly what to expect from the Tahr grind. But my advice to you guys is, if you are doing a Tahr grind right now, get that great one. Get those kills in and try and spawn that great one before the update, because it is going to get a whole lot harder, possibly even impossible. I don't know how many people are going to be doing the Tahr grind after the update. Now, we don't have a date for it yet. I am really hoping it's not going to take me like 4,000 kills, because we are just at 2,000 kills now. And no great one. Oh my gosh. Just letting you guys know what is going on. If you did enjoy the video, guys, splat that like button. And if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more daily Call of the Wild content. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'm gonna recommend that you watch this video next.